What's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about the gas chamber at basic training and kind of what that whole experience is like, kind of what it feels like as well. I'm going to try and describe that to you guys, and then maybe a tip that'll help you guys out that I wish I would have followed the first time I went to the gas chamber. One of the most dreaded parts of basic training is the gas chamber. It's one of those things that you hear about before you go. It's one of those things that you might have seen some videos or pictures of people going through the gas chamber. They're coughing, you know, they're coming out, they got snot going down their nose, and you're going to basic training and you're like, crap, I've got to do this? Like, this is not going to be fun at all, right? So it's one of those things that a lot of people dread it. They're just like, this is something I've never experienced before. A lot of people describe it as being really bad, and I'm super nervous. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my experience at basic training going through the gas chamber. I've now done it twice. I did it once at basic training, and I did it again this past summer. So a couple months ago, I went through the gas chamber again, and this experience was definitely a lot better because, you know, I had a working gas mask, which I will talk about later in this video. So the gas chamber day, the CBurn day at basic training is basically going to be your entire day. First thing that's going to happen is you're going to have some kind of class on the gas mask when you're issued your gas mask, just so you know like how they work. And whenever you actually don and clear the mask, donning and clearing is when you don it, you're basically putting it on, and when you clear it, you're actually ensuring that it is sealed. You're clearing all of the gases out of the gas mask where it's only good air. So that's what donning and clearing your gas mask is. You're going to learn all about that before you go into the gas chamber, and once you go into the gas chamber, you're going to test out what you've learned basically. Once you've had your class and you've been issued your gas mask at basic training, what's going to happen is you're going to put it on, you're going to be testing it out, making sure that the mask isn't broken itself, that it can actually seal itself. And for me, myself, whenever I got my first mask, it didn't work. There was something wrong with the strap or something, but I asked the drill sergeant, or I told the drill sergeant, I was like, hey, this gas mask doesn't work, which you're supposed to do. But, you know, of course he gets all upset because it's totally my fault that the gas mask is broken whenever they handed it to me. But that's neither here nor there, but that's kind of what happens sometimes at basic training. They get mad at you for absolutely no reason. But I ended up getting a second gas mask, and the drill sergeant will go around, and after you check your gas mask yourself, they will go around and individually check every single person's gas mask. And the drill sergeant came around to me, he checked my gas mask, and he said it was okay, but in my opinion, I thought it might have had a small little seal, but I didn't really know for sure. I kind of felt some air leakage, but again, I was kind of like, well, I don't want to tell this drill sergeant again. And I've asked before, like, whenever you breathe in and out, should you feel air? And they said yes, but I felt like it was a little bit different, and I told them about it. They said it was fine. Anyways, long story short, I'm lining up to go into the gas chamber. I'm the first one in the gas chamber whenever you line up, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna go in different little groups of, I don't know, 15 people, all right? So you're gonna go in groups of 15 people, you're gonna line up at the door, then you're gonna walk into the door. Once you actually get into the gas chamber, like the first step you step into the gas chamber, you're gonna start to feel a little burning sensation around your neck. You're gonna feel it on your hands and stuff. So any exposed skin is going to start to burn. A little side note here, if you do have sunburn, it is going to make the gas chamber gas burn feel a lot worse. And the day before, we were out in the sun a whole lot. It was, you know, summertime at Fort Benning, and I had sunburn on my neck, so my neck was burning like really, really bad. But it's definitely a bearable pain. The burning sensation of the gas chamber is definitely like the least worst part. So it's really not that bad. It basically just feels like a burn of a really bad sunburn. So if you've ever gotten a really bad sunburn and somebody has slapped you, rubbed their arm against you or whatever, and it just burns for a little bit, it hurts. That's kind of what it feels like on your skin, on any part of your exposed skin. So a little pro tip, whenever you have your sleeves for your OCP top, your ACU top, you want to make sure you tighten up your sleeves so you can have as little air get into there as possible, so your arm isn't burning and just your hand. So keep that in mind. Same thing with your neck if you can, if you're able to do that. But the burning sensation is by far not the worst part. So what's going to happen is after you walk in, you're going to start to feel this burn. You're going to be walking around, and your gas mask should be working at this point to where your face is not burning. For me, my gas mask was not working and my face was actually burning, but I'm not going to talk too much about my personal experience. But you get into the gas chamber, and there's two things that you're going to do whenever you get into the gas chamber. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to make you do like a few little exercises and stuff, or in the opposite order, they're going to make you don and clear your mask. So they're going to make sure that you know how to basically break the seal of your mask. So you're going to lift the chin or the bottom part of your mask off of your face, and you're going to hold your breath during this time. And then basically once you put the gas mask back on, you're going to clear the gas mask and basically make sure that you know how to work this thing. So if something ever happened to you, you know how to put it on and you know how to clear the gas mask so that you actually can breathe rather than getting, you know, screwed up by the chemicals in the air, right? So after that, they're gonna make you do a few little exercises basically to get your heart rate up, to get you breathing harder, because the next step is going to be the part where you actually just take off the gas mask and you start breathing. So after you do a few little exercises, you're gonna take off your gas mask and you're gonna put it in your pocket or the bag that they give you, and then you're gonna breathe. This can vary. I've heard people saying the drill sergeants make you say the soldier's creed, they'll make you say the Army values, they'll make you say your address, you know, what's your name and stuff like that. They will make you try and talk. They will yell at you, they'll try to get you to breathe, because pretty much everybody tries not to breathe that much whenever you're going to the gas chamber. You'll just kind of take little sips of air, and you just sip in air kind of like you're breathing, you know, barely, just enough to actually be okay. But then eventually they're going to come around to you if you're doing that, and they're just going to be yelling at you, because if you're not freaking out, like if you're not coughing, if you're not struggling to breathe, they obviously know that you're holding your breath. So if you're holding your breath, then they're gonna come at you and they're just gonna basically yell at you until you do breathe, until you start coughing and stuff like that. So the thing about this CS gas that you're going to experience when you go into the gas chamber is you don't experience it the first breath whenever you breathe in. It's usually around like the third breath or so, because your lungs obviously aren't going to fill up with this gas your first breath, because that's just not how it works. You don't empty out your lungs and totally fill them up with every single breath. So you're gonna take off your gas mask, and the first breath you take, it's gonna be a little weird. Like you're gonna smell it, you're gonna taste it a little bit, but you know, for the most part, your first breath is totally normal. Your second breath, you might start to kind of feel the effects of it a little bit. Your eyes are still gonna be fine at this point within the first few breaths. But after the third breath or so, your eyes are gonna be, it's gonna be really difficult to open your eyes because of the burning sensation. It's gonna be really, really difficult for you to breathe. You're still going to be able to breathe, like you're not going to die. Like I promise you guys, like it'll feel like you're about to die, but you're not going to die. So you're gonna be really struggling to breathe after the third breath or so, because your lungs have started to fill up with this gas. And one of the ways that I like to describe it to other people is it's kind of like breathing out of a straw that is the size of a toothpick. So you're getting some air in, but it feels like you're not. Basically, it kind of, it feels, or the sensation, I guess, is kind of like if you were drowning in water and you're kind of gagging, struggling to get breath. That's kind of what it's like, but you're getting just a tiny little bit of air, enough to, I guess, in my opinion, make you feel like you're going to die, but then you're getting enough that you're gonna be okay. And that's kind of what it feels like. So you're gonna have a burning sensation on your skin, your eyes are gonna be burning, and you're gonna be having a really hard time breathing. And when you're having this hard time breathing, you're gonna be coughing, the snot in your nose is gonna start to kind of drip down and stuff. You're gonna have slobber and stuff everywhere. You guys have seen the pictures. I'm probably gonna show some pictures for you guys, but it's going to be quite a bad experience in the moment, but it's not going to last that long. The total time in the gas chamber is only gonna be like 5 minutes or so. You know, 3 minutes at least of that is going to be time with the gas mask on. So you're not gonna be in there for 5 minutes without the gas mask. But the last 30 seconds to a minute or so is going to be, you know, without the gas mask, you're going to be coughing, you're gonna be having a hard time going through this, you know, gas chamber. And then once that's over, once everybody's coughing and the drill sergeant is like, okay, everybody's coughing, then you'll just exit out of the gas chamber, and then you'll start flapping your arms kind of like you're a bird, just to get the oxygen back into your lungs. And basically the first step out of the gas chamber, you can actually kind of start to breathe again. It's a little bit, it's still more difficult than normal breath because again, you still have the stuff in your lungs and it's still hard to breathe, and that's why you're flapping your arms so you can actually get that breath back and get that normal breathing back and still, you know, try to open your eyes, because once you leave, you're gonna feel it like, oh my gosh, I feel like I can breathe, but it's still going to be difficult for a while. You're still gonna be coughing, like coughing a lot. The snot and everything's gonna be coming out of your eyes. You're not gonna be able to open your eyes. You're gonna be squinting barely, but it's still going to burn. But after 30 seconds to a minute or so after the gas chamber is when you're gonna start to feel okay. It's when you're gonna be looking around like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be flapping your arms still, because you still have to do that. You're gonna be flapping your arms, looking around like, oh man, I'm so happy that's over, right? And then a couple minutes later, you're gonna realize that really wasn't that bad. Like, it only lasted a few seconds, you know? That's really not that bad. And there's some people that are like, man, I would like to do that again, which I don't want to do it again. But some people, like, it's just not as bad as you might think. Kind of like a roller coaster. Like, you're super scared of this roller coaster. You go down the roller coaster and you're just like, man, that was super fun, I want to do it again. The gas chamber isn't super fun, but it's, in my opinion, it's such a crazy experience that, you know, you just might want to do it again. Some guys are just like, oh, I'm so manly, I can do the gas chamber again. And you might get the chance to do the gas chamber again. You never know. It's happened before, where number one, they might ask somebody if you want to do the gas chamber again, and if you want to do the gas chamber again, you'll go back through. The other way that you can do the gas chamber again is if you screw up. So if you like refuse to take off your gas mask, or something happens, so like you don't breathe, so you try to go through the whole thing and you just don't breathe, they're just gonna make you do it again until you actually kind of experience the gas chamber. So that's basically two ways of doing the gas chamber twice. One, if you have the chance to volunteer to do it again, and two, if you don't do what they tell you to do, then you're probably gonna have to go through the gas chamber one more time. Now, my little tip for you guys in this video, the second time I did the gas chamber, which was this past summer, it was not as bad as the first time. It was basically the same scenario, same thing, basically the same amount of time going through the gas chamber, but it wasn't as bad. The reason being, if you caught what I said a little bit earlier in the video, is my gas mask didn't work, right? So the second gas mask that the drill sergeant gave me when I was at basic training, I thought that it had maybe a slight little leak in it, and when the drill sergeant came around and checked it, like, he said it was fine, but you know, I asked, like, should I feel air kind of coming in the gas mask whenever I breathe in and out? And you should feel a little bit, right? But I felt like it was just a little bit different. So whenever I tried to describe it to them, they didn't really understand, right? So they were like, you're fine, your gas mask is fine, just go through the gas chamber. And the first step, whenever I went into the gas chamber, again, I was the first person to go in. The first step I took into the gas chamber, I started to feel the air coming in through my chin, and then my face started to burn. So within seconds, my face was burning, and it was kind of hard for me to open my eyes. At this point, I didn't know that that's not supposed to happen. I thought maybe a gas mask, maybe it kind of dilutes the process a little bit, because it didn't feel that bad at first. It really didn't feel that bad at first. Like, I felt it burning. I was just like, this is really, really weird that my actual face is burning, because my neck was burning a whole lot more, my hands were burning a whole lot more, but my face wasn't burning as bad. So I thought it was kind of like a normal thing. But eventually, with that slight leak in my gas mask, it started getting a little bit worse, and it started getting a little bit worse. And the first breath I took, whenever I actually took off my gas mask, I was done. Like, I was dead, because at this point, after being in the gas chamber for a couple minutes with a small leak in my gas mask, I was already struggling to keep my eyes open. I was squinting them. I was already taking tiny sips of air. And once I took off the gas mask, the first breath I took, it just killed me. Like, I was just like, I can't breathe, like, I'm done. So everybody else, it took them, you know, a couple breaths or so, you know, to actually feel the effects of the gas. But for me, I had already been filling up my lungs slowly, and I was already struggling once I took the first breath. So when I took that first breath, it was game over for me. I was done. I couldn't breathe. I could not wait to get out of there. Now, something I learned later after the gas chamber is apparently the drill sergeants are supposed to ask, like, if somebody's gas mask is not working. So once you go in, they're supposed to be like, hey, does anybody feel a burning sensation on their face? Is anybody's gas mask not working? For some reason, they didn't do that for my group. And I didn't want to be that guy that was like, oh, my gas mask, like, I don't think it's working or whatever. I didn't want to be that guy. So I kind of wanted to tough it out, I guess you could say. So I toughed it out, and man, whenever I left that gas chamber, whew, that was like the best day of my life. It was the best day of my life leaving that gas chamber. But my little tip to you guys is, if you think your gas mask does not work, if you really think your gas mask doesn't work like I did, do your best to try and get another gas mask. And if you do go into the gas chamber and you start feeling your face burning, like, so your face is in the gas mask, everything else should be burning except for your face. You should still be able to breathe fine. Your eyes should not be watering. But if you experience any of that, like I experienced whenever I was actually in the gas chamber with my gas mask on, let them know, because your gas mask does not work. There's something wrong with it. The seal doesn't work. It's not properly sealed. There's something going on with that gas mask to where it doesn't work. So keep that in mind whenever you're going through the gas chamber, so that you don't end up like me, suffering a whole lot more than I should have. Because for other people, they're like, oh, it's really not that bad, you know, it's only a few seconds. For me, I was like, the entire time I was struggling, like the entire time. So don't be like me. Get a proper gas mask, and you know, your life will be a little bit easier that day. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was just me talking about my experience going through the gas chamber at basic training, kind of what it's like, what it kind of feels like to go through the gas chamber and that whole experience, and then basically my experience going through the gas chamber, which was far worse than it should have been. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Comment any questions you have down below. If you want to stick around for some more basic training videos from me, hit that subscribe button. You should do that. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have anything that you really want to get in touch with me about, Instagram and Snapchat links are in the description, so you can hit me up on there. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.